All right, let's talk about some bold predictions for the rest of this NBA season. I think pretty much all of these end up being positive because I felt like being nice. I guess one, there's some playoff positioning talks and somebody's feelings are going to get like slightly hurt there. But anyway, the first one I have, I'm going to start off with a scorcher. At least I think some people will think of this one as a super hot take. I think James Harden is going to be good on defense for the Sixers. Now, let me clarify. They're not going to put him on the other team's best player or their best ball handler. But I think in terms of things like swiping in on ball handlers when he's defending his guy on the wing, standing in the right spot if the Sixers bring extra attention on the ball handler, like try to defend two guys in the opposite corner at the same time, as well as being sturdy enough on the ball. We'll see how much of a switching defense the Sixers take on for the sake of Harden. I think he'll be good defensively. I mean, James Harden, on his very best days defensively, where it seemed like he was more pressured by just everybody on the internet saying he's horrible on defense, he was pretty decent. I think he'll be on his best behavior because it's a new team. I think you're going to get a good James Harden on the defensive side of the floor. The next one, I think this will be the other super hot take of the video. I believe that one of Spencer Dinwiddie or Davis Bertans will be good for the Mavericks down the stretch, to the point where, sure, the Porzingis trade, there's still going to be a lot of commotion about it. And I mean, Dallas basically just said, we're giving up on Porzingis being healthy, and we're also splitting up his money into two contracts for the sake of hopefully making these two deals more tradable. On top of, we could just get good Bertans and good Dinwiddie back. Anyway, I think one of them will be good. I don't know which one. I mean, if you want to say how it could happen, the obvious with Bertans is he plays off of Luka and he just makes open threes. And then you hope that the Mavericks defense is good enough to where he can fit in and not get exposed all the time. And then for Dinwiddie, the idea would be he can attack off of closeouts. He can hopefully be just like a little better from three, just on catch and shoots. They could attempt to get him moving off ball. I mean, of course, Luke is still going to be running the show, no doubt about that. And they could also look to Dinwiddie maybe in times when Luka is on the bench. My next bold prediction, I think Jalen Suggs is going to be very good down the stretch. And I think he will grow in the rookie ladder, where right now he's number 9. I think he can surpass Chris Duarte, Herb Jones. Io is tough because Io is coming on himself, and the top 5 is like pretty set in stone, so maybe it's not that big of a climb for Jalen Suggs. But the thing with Suggs is his free throw attempts have been a bit higher lately. He's had 3 straight games of at least 6 free throw attempts. He had a 7 free throw attempt a game against the Celtics, 10 against the Lakers, 8 against the Bulls. And I think some of it is they are leaning on him maybe a little bit more for action around screens, as well as Suggs is beginning to get better at using his frame. I mean, he's 6'4", but he's built a little bit, of course, to where he can draw contact and also just put his shoulder into defenders sometimes, and whether that leads to a better shot at the rim or just him being able to take an extra dribble or two closer to the basket or whatever. I think it's all starting to come together for him now. With this said, in terms of the three-point shooting, the floaters, and just the general finishing he still has work to do, but I think he's really starting to show the signs of how he can be a great inside scorer. He's also attacking more like off of catches, or he's getting more aggressive in transition opportunities. I think he does also still need to improve his handle a bit more, because I think sometimes he can get a little overwhelmed if a defense really hones in on him like that, but I think he's going in the right direction, and I think he's going to have a number of games down the stretch where it's like, oh yeah, don't forget about Jalen Suggs. His decision-making has also been improving as well as he's getting downhill. The turnovers are still a little high, and I guess some of that once again comes back to he still needs to improve the handle a bit, but yeah, I feel good about him. Here's the next one, which I guess will be the one that might hurt somebody's feelings. I don't even think this is that strong of a take, but I think the Grizzlies will overtake the Warriors for the 2 seed, mainly because Draymond is still going to be out for a bit. I mean, he said in the All-Star game, 3 to 4 weeks, and even then he didn't sound super confident. The Warriors have one of the toughest remaining schedules. The Grizzlies have one of the easiest remaining schedules, and the Grizzlies are like 1.5 games out of the 2 seed right now. Before Warriors fans get upset, as long as you have a healthy Draymond, Steph, and Clay, you can win the whole thing, so there you go. My next one, I had to get the Celtics in here once, I'm sorry. I think Jayson Tatum will end the season averaging over 5 assists a game. He is at 4.2 at the moment, but in his last 15, it's been a bit higher, and I think that will continue. His decision making has just been a lot better when defenses throw extra attention at him, like he's instinctively looking to the opposite corner so often now, and he is really busting out a lot of impressive skip passes. He's also gotten better at just making the simple play, which might not lead to the assist, but it's the hockey assist, if you will, where it's like there's two on him, throw to the guy at the wing who then gets it to the guy in the corner or the guy cutting or whatever. I mean, these are basic basketball things, but we know that Tatum is not a natural playmaker. It's something he's had to improve on. There's also more times now where it just seems like he's basically the point guard of the team. I mean, I know Marcus Smart is technically the point, but Tatum leads the team in touches per game on the season and stuff like that, so yeah. And of course, the off-ball movement has been spiced up a little bit recently, so that could help as well. Another bold prediction for you, I think Thad Young is going to be kind of amazing for the Raptors. I mean, amazing in the sense of he's probably going to average at the most like 10 points a game, but you already saw it in a couple of his games that he's played already. He just cuts to the basket in random moments where the offense just needed a little something. Even with how good Siakam and Van Vliet have been, I do think sometimes they've needed just some tough shot making. And I think Thad Young just setting an extra screen or, again, cutting to the basket or just kind of lingering around the dunker spot, it just gives them that extra sort of release valve that you need sometimes. On top of defensively, I expect him to fit into Nick Nurse's defensive scheme, which is sometimes just whatever Nick Nurse feels like in the moment. You need a smart, versatile defensive team to be able to do that, and well, Thad Young is smart and versatile, and I think he can still move pretty well, even if he's a little older now. I think that's about all I got. Oh, there was also that I think Jaren Jackson's three-point shooting is going to get back to what it was before he was hurt, so that's like 39% from three, so that can go along with the Grizzlies getting the 2-seed thing. To pivot a little bit at the end here, I would like to talk about the Elam ending real quick, because it's been a bit of a conversation of why is basketball not just played with this all the time, target score, fourth quarter, whatever. I think the NBA should definitely experiment with it more. G League, Summer League, perhaps the preseason, or some games in the preseason at least. And let's just see what happens. Let's get a larger sample size. Let's see how people feel about it. And then we can go from there. I've seen some people suggest, oh yeah, this is definitely better. Let's just change it right now. I don't think they actually believe it would get changed now. I've also seen some people just be like, no, get this out of here. How dare you disturb my sanctuary of basketball? I'm just kind of in the middle. Let's just see what it looks like over more games. And if it's unanimously loved by people, I mean, hey, maybe in 5-10 years, it could be the way we play games in the NBA. And okay, if it proves to be the way to do it, then okay, let's do it. There was also a bit of stuff about the Lakers and basically how it's a Game of Thrones between Clutch and LeBron, but then there were reports disputing all of that, like yesterday or whatever. I guess all I'll say is I think LeBron and AD will be on the team next year. Besides that, who knows? And that includes Frank Vogel. So that's all I got for you on the Lakers.